Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Great to be with you on a beautiful Wednesday. The week is trekking right along. We're in this brand new study. What is the church? Who is the church? Why does it matter? We're building this out of the statement from Jesus, I will build my church upon this rock. Of course, in the conversation that he was having with Peter, when Peter said to him, you are the Christ, you are the Son of the living God. So Jesus, when he said this, was speaking of true worship that was built around the principles that he had set forth, the principles that he lived by, the principles that he gave the believer to live by. So again, in this study, what we're looking at is not only just the proper application and definition of words, but the context in which they were given. Oftentimes what we find is, especially in original statements, we can find this even in the world, that as time goes by, they no longer adhere to what was originally meant. We see that all the time in all the arguments that go on in the political realm. Because what was originally stated by the founding fathers is no longer adhered to, or it's tweaked and changed a little bit to comply with modern society. Well, the church doesn't get to do that. And when I say the church, again, we're talking about the body universal, all right? If God set forth the parameters, if God set forth the directive, the directions, the instructions, all the other stuff, they stay the same, all right? But understanding what was meant, we're not talking about certain practices and institutions and all. We're talking about what did Jesus say? Because he said, so he's speaking of himself, will build, that is an affirmative statement, that is a personal statement, church. We go back and again, we've talked about the meaning of that word, ecclesia, where it came from, the gathering of like-minded believers. Okay, so the church is not the building. In fact, Jesus rarely spoke in a building, if we're honest. Now again, we're not taking away from or putting down anything when it comes to that. So that's never the intent of this program, right? This is about look at what responsibility do we have? What has been placed before us in order to understand? See, Jesus was out and about. He was all over the place telling others about the good news of the kingdom. And that is exactly what he has asked his church to do. Okay, and when we think about the beauty of that, we've been given a task. Oftentimes, if we're honest, and I say this exclusively as a pastor, if we're honest, it's difficult to get people in the door of the church. It's much easier to take it to them. Because unfortunately, as time goes by, reputations and rumors and innuendos and gossip and stuff come from buildings and places and establishments and certain groups and leaders and denominations and whatever. That's just true, all right? And so unfortunately from that, opinions and ideas and whatever get formulated that cause people to say, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want anything to do with that. And so that was never the intent of what Jesus said when he said, I will build my church. Because he made it clear, and we talked about this yesterday, as he spoke about eternity, he said, no one gets there unless they come through me. Now, why is that? Because Jesus said, follow me. It was always a singular statement when he was speaking because the world is confusing. The world is all over the place and is one thing today, another thing tomorrow. All right, we see it all the time. And it absolutely is no differential between the world and the spiritual side, the religious side, whatever you want to call it. All right, because we're continually changing things. But God doesn't change. And that's where it becomes a problem. My church, those who will follow me will adhere to what I say, not what anybody else says. They will not change what I say. They will dig deeper to understand what it is that I am saying, because they will then become not just followers of me in the literal step-by-step way, but emulators. They will listen to me. They will do as not just as I say, but they will do as I do, because he set forth the example. This is why, friends, this is why I'm doing this study. It is so important that people outside of our walls, people outside of the confines of the established, again, building on the corner, and regardless of the banner that it's under, Baptist or whoever, it's time that people begin to see that is not what defines the things of God. Because unfortunately, sometimes when they hear, and if you live in any size community, all right, it doesn't matter if it's a massive city, a Dallas or a Los Angeles or an Atlanta, or a small little rural town in the middle of nowhere, the reputation that precedes out of a place of worship oftentimes is the preventative that keeps people from coming in. And I hate saying that, but it's true. When people hear the things that come out of a building, it has a sign in the front that says church, and none of them are inviting. None of them, okay, the church sign says welcome, but everything that's heard about what goes on there, or maybe a one-time visit, disproves that. I wasn't welcomed. I wasn't made to feel comfortable. I wasn't greeted in a friendly way because of this or that. Friends, again, I don't say these things to put down any one particular institution over another, but I've been there. As a visitor, I remember a couple of different incidents. One in particular, I remember going to visit this. I was a young person at the time, probably, 18, 19 years old, trying to find my way in life, making a multitude of mistakes, all right? Walking into a place, greeted, good morning, nice to have you here. Here's our packet of information. So it's a little overwhelming, like you're already getting inundated with marketing tools and asking very personal questions. Where do you work? How much do you make? How much will you commit to giving per week? I turned around and walked out because I wasn't prepared to answer those questions. Little did I know I wasn't prepared to do anything, because it wouldn't be for another 10 or 15 years before I would even come to understand who Christ really is. That was a turnoff. Just as even as a pastor, I've pastored churches, and I've gone to ask people, we were so glad to have you. I hadn't seen you back, just wanted to say hello. And I said, well, thank you so much for caring. We really appreciated the things that you said, really appreciated your passion and your energy and all the things that you said. But your people weren't very welcoming. They really just didn't seem sincere about wanting me there. So I just didn't feel like it was a place for me to be. As the pastor, I felt like I had the right to ask my people if this was true. And the response I got was heart, not just breaking, it was heart shattering. They said, oh no, that's true. We don't want those people here. This is our church. But Jesus said, I'm going to build my church. You see, friends, what comes out, if it overshadows the idea, it changes the perception. And so what we've got to understand is Jesus said, I'm going to build my church. We have to be reflection of that. And in order to do that, we have to understand what it means. So systematically, we're going through this study. What is the church? Who is the church? Why does it matter? To come to a conclusion of a better answer than what we've been given, so that we can understand that we can be about the things of God and show people what this relationship is really all about. God bless you, friends. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow, Lord willing, as we'll wrap up our week here at Making It Simple. God bless you. I'll see you then.